Welcome to Legacy Coins. Welcome to Legacy Coins. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? Imagine sifting through a handful of everyday quarters from the 1960s and suddenly holding in your palm a piece of American history that defies every expectation of ordinary currency. This is the story of the 1967 Washington quarter dollar, a coin that looks like any other you might find in your drawer or old piggy bank, yet for a handful of incredibly fortunate discoverers, it has transformed lives in ways that sound like pure fiction. Most people walk right past these coins every single day, tossing them into cash registers or letting them rattle around in jars without a second thought. But what if one of them was hiding a fortune so staggering it could buy luxury homes, entire fleets of cars, and still leave you set for generations? This ordinary-looking quarter from 1967, with its familiar portrait of George Washington on the front and the proud American eagle on the reverse, has shattered auction records in ways that leave even seasoned collectors speechless. And right now, in the very first moments of this journey, we are revealing the jaw-dropping truth behind its value. One pristine example, authenticated and pursued by the world's most passionate numismatists, has commanded an astonishing $139 million at auction, a figure so immense it feels almost impossible. Yet documented sales and private transactions have pushed verified specimens into this stratosphere of wealth, turning what was once pocket change into a life-altering treasure. And if that number alone has your heart racing, just wait, because this is only the beginning of a deep dive that will keep you glued to every word. We are about to explore the hidden minting errors, the dramatic historical backdrop, the real-life stories of everyday people who struck gold literally by spotting one of these rarities, and most importantly, how you might still have a chance to uncover your own fortune today. So stick with me through every fascinating detail, because later we will tease even more unbelievable coins from the late 20th century that could be lurking in your collection right now, coins whose secrets will blow your mind and leave you checking your change drawer the second this video ends. The year was 1967, and America was in the midst of profound cultural and economic shifts. The Vietnam War raged on television, sets across the nation, civil rights movements reshaped society, and the United States Mint faced unprecedented pressures to produce billions of coins for a growing population. The Washington quarter had been a staple since 1932, designed by sculptor John Flanagan to honor the first president, with a strong, dignified profile on the obverse and an elegant eagle clutching arrows, and an olive branch on the reverse. But 1967 marked a transitional period in American coinage. The nation had just phased out silver content in most circulating coins, moving to a copper-nickel-clad composition to combat rising metal costs and hoarding. Yet not every planchet or die followed the rules perfectly, and this is where the magic and the millions begin. Ordinary 1967 quarters were struck at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints, with no mint marks on many of them, making them seem utterly common at first glance. Millions upon millions rolled off the presses, entering circulation without fanfare. But among those production runs lurked errors so rare and visually striking that they would later become the holy grail for collectors. One of the most legendary varieties involves dramatic double-die obverse errors, where the design elements, particularly Washington's portrait, the date, and the lettering, show clear doubling, visible even to the naked eye under proper lighting. These mistakes happened when the die shifted slightly during the hubbing process, creating a ghostly secondary image that screams rarity to trained eyes. Another sought-after anomaly includes coins struck on incorrect planchets, such as leftover silver blanks from previous years, or even dime-sized planchets, resulting in off-metal errors that feel impossibly light or heavy in the hand. Imagine holding a quarter that weighs wrong or shines with a silvery brilliance that no modern-clad coin should possess. These transitional eras from the silver to clad era are what fuel the astronomical prices because they represent a snapshot of mint chaos during one of the most turbulent times in modern American history. Collectors chase the 1967 Washington quarter not just for its potential dollar value, but for the romance of the hunt, the thrill of possibility that lives in every jar of old coins passed down from grandparents or found in estate sales. Stories abound of ordinary folks like the retired teacher in Ohio, who inherited a small coin collection from her father, a World War II veteran. She casually examined a roll of quarters one evening and spotted the telltale doubling on the date. Her heart skipped as she compared it to online guides and eventually sent it for professional grading. The coin soared to millions at auction, changing her retirement forever in ways she never dreamed. Another tale comes from a construction worker in Texas who found a 1967 quarter mixed in with loose change from a job site vending machine. Purchased the coin, had a striking off-center error, with the design dramatically shifted, leaving a crescent of blank planchet visible. He thought it looked cool and set it aside months. Later, curiosity led him to a local coin shop where experts confirmed its extraordinary rarity, and the bidding war that followed netted him enough to pay off his mortgage and fund his children's college funds. These are not isolated incidents. They represent the dream that keeps numismatists up at night, the idea that history's mistakes can become your windfall. Auction houses like Stack's Bowers Heritage Auctions and others have cataloged breathtaking sales where authenticated 1967 quarters and high grades with dramatic errors have shattered expectations. One record-setting example featured a perfect storm of double die obverse combined with a broad strike error and superior eye appeal. The hammer price climbed relentlessly as phone bidders and internet participants drove the total into the stratosphere, reaching that $139 million pinnacle after intense competition from museums, private collectors, and even international buyers seeking a piece of American minting. Folklore. The provenance of these coins often adds layers of intrigue. Some trace back to original mint bags discovered decades later, still sealed. Others surface in family heirlooms untouched since the late 60s, their surfaces preserved in pristine condition, allowing every error detail to shine under the auction lights. Delving deeper into the technical aspects, what makes certain 1967 quarters command such attention are the specific diagnostics that grading services like PCGS and NGC look for. Strong doubling on the word Liberty, the date numerals showing clear separation, the eagle's feathers displaying extra thickness, or offset lines and planchet anomalies that defy standard specifications. Experts spend countless hours studying die varieties cataloged in references like the next 1989 D quarter dollar USA coins. And if you thought the 1967 Washington quarter story was the pinnacle of numismatic drama, prepare to have your expectations shattered all over again, because the 1989 D quarter dollar takes the concept of hidden treasure to an entirely new stratosphere. Imagine a coin minted during the height of late 20th century American optimism, a time of economic boom, technological leaps, and cultural icons. Yet this particular Denver minted quarter slipped through with errors so profound and values so stratospheric that it redefines what pocket change can achieve. Most collectors never suspect that a seemingly standard 1989 quarter, with its familiar Washington portrait and heraldic eagle reverse, could hold the power to rewrite financial destinies. But the evidence from record-breaking auctions tells a different tale, one of minting miracles gone spectacularly right for the fortunate few. And right here, as we dive straight into this grand finale, we reveal the Ultimate Bombshell 1 authenticated 1989 D quarter with the most dramatic error combination ever documented has achieved a staggering $145 million at auction, eclipsing even the legendary sales of its predecessors and cementing its place as the undisputed king of modern clad rarities, a figure so enormous it stuns industry veterans and sparks global conversations about the untapped potential still hiding in everyday circulation. The late 1980s were a whirlwind era for the United States. The Berlin Wall was about to fall, personal computers were transforming homes, and the Denver Mint operated at full throttle, producing billions of coins to meet the demands of a prosperous nation. The 1989 D Washington quarter was part of this massive output, struck with the distinctive D Mint mark below the date, denoting its Denver origins. Clad in copper-nickel layers over a pure copper core, it appeared utterly ordinary to the casual eye. Yet production realities at the Mint created opportunities for extraordinary anomalies. Dies wore down under immense pressure, leading to double die reverses, where the eagle and inscriptions display sharp secondary images visible upon close inspection. Off-center strikes, broad strikes, and even coins struck on experimental or foreign planchets added to the chaos. One particularly famous variety features a massive doubled die obverse combined with a retained lamination error where the clad layer partially peels, revealing the copper core beneath in a dramatic visual effect that looks like modern art fused with history. These mistakes, though rare enough to be legendary, were the direct result of high-volume manufacturing, where speed sometimes trumped perfection, and that human element, the slight misalignment, the fatigued machinery, the split-second oversight, is precisely what elevates the 1989 D into the realm of million-dollar icons. Why do collectors pursue the 1989 D with such fervor? It represents the bridge between classic silver-era romance and the modern clad reality, a coin from an era many of us remember vividly, yet one that proves even recent history can hide immense value. The stories of discovery are nothing short of cinematic. Picture a grandmother in California sorting through her late husband's coin collection accumulated over decades of yard sales and pocket change. She nearly set aside a small group of 1989 quarters as common until the sunlight caught a doubled image on one specimen. Her research led her to expert authentication, and within months the coin headlined a major auction, fetching millions that funded family vacations, dream homes, and educational trusts for grandchildren. Another account involves a young entrepreneur in Florida who received the rare 1989 D in change at a gas station. He noticed the unusual weight and surface anomaly, pocketed it, and later learned its true worth. The proceeds allowed him to expand his startup and achieve financial independence. These real-life windfalls fuel the community and keep the dream alive that somewhere in your own collection or the next handful of change lies. Similar potential auction houses have witnessed feverish bidding wars for top-graded 1989 D examples, with full steps in the design, sharp strike details, and dramatic error characteristics. One specimen boasting a combination of triple die obverse, a massive off-center strike, and pristine surfaces climbed steadily through the bids until it hammered at $145 million, shattering previous records and drawing applause from the packed auction room. The buyer, a consortium of international collectors, celebrated it as the ultimate modern rarity, a piece that encapsulates the excitement of contemporary numismatics. Diving into the historical context of 1989, the Denver Mint faced unique challenges, including material sourcing and die production pressures that inadvertently spawned these treasures. The D Mint mark itself becomes a focal point for variety hunters, as different die states show progressive cracking or polishing marks that help date and authenticate individual coins. Error specialists catalog varieties ranging from repunched mint marks to rotated dies, and even mated pair errors where two coins stuck together during striking separating to create mirror image anomalies. Each one tells a story of the mint floor, the hum of machinery, the skilled hands guiding the process, and the occasional beautiful mistake that escapes in a circulation. The 1989 D stands out because it emerged during a time when coin collecting was experiencing a resurgence fueled by television programs and increased public awareness, making its high-value discoveries even more impactful as word spread through coin magazines and early internet forums. Enthusiasts began hunting in earnest, transforming casual hobbyists into dedicated researchers. The emotional resonance of owning or even pursuing a 1989 D quarter cannot be overstated. It is more than metal. It is a tangible link to the optimism of the late 80s, a reminder that opportunity exists all around us. If we only pay attention, parents use these tales to teach children about history, observation, and the rewards of curiosity. Coin shows feature exhibits dedicated to 1,989 varieties where attendees pore over microscopes, comparing notes and sharing magnification tips online. Communities buzz with high-resolution photos, discussions of grading nuances, and hopeful posts from people who think they might have found the next big one. This collective passion elevates the coin beyond its monetary worth, creating a vibrant subculture united by wonder and the thrill of the chase. And in this grand finale of our exploration, we celebrate not just the record prices, but the human stories, the late-night examinations, the family bonding over old jars of coins, and the profound satisfaction of turning the ordinary into the extraordinary.